How to retire with £1 million. £1 million. It sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? And if this is your potential retirement target, then you could generate over £50,000 income per year, which is a decent income in anyone's mind. So, sounds great, but how do you get there? Keep watching, because in this video, I'm going to show you how. It won't be easy, but it is possible. Hi, I'm Adam Walkom, a financial planner, entrepreneur, and author of Plan for Happy. I've built a very successful financial planning business helping my clients take the worry out of achieving a successful retirement. And now I want to help you do the same. Retiring with £1 million is many people's dream. And frankly, if you're working and have the ability to save extra money on top of your spending, then you also have the ability to get there. However, there is one crucial factor that will determine how easy it is for you to get there. Do you know what it is? Can you guess? It's not income, it's not expenditure, it's not how much you start with, although this can be important. You know what it is? It's your age. Yes, your age. The earlier you start, the easier it is to get to £1 million. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because if you're watching this and you're in your 20s, you've got a really, really good chance of getting to this magic figure by making the correct decisions today. The bad news, if you're in your 50s, I'm sorry to say, but it's much, much harder. So, let me explain how this happens. I'm sure you know, but we need to talk about the benefits of compounding and regular investing. No less than Albert Einstein was famous for many things, but rather bizarrely for saying that compounding was the eighth wonder of the world. I'm sure I don't need to explain compounding to you, but the concept is really powerful. £10,000 growing at 5% in 1 year's time is £10,500. £10,000 growing at 5% for 10 years is not £15,000 as it seems, but nearly £16,300. And then for 20 years, it's just over £26,500, all starting from the same £10,000. So what's the key to this? Don't touch it. This is because money needs to be left alone, because compounding only works when it's not interrupted. Okay, we've got the concept of compounding. Now should we spice this up a bit and start to really ramp up the returns? Let's start adding regular contributions. Let's not go crazy here, but let's assume £100 per month. Most people should be able to save that. However, as we want our assets to grow, and we need to accept there will be some inflation, so £100 a month today is going to be worth a lot more than £100 in many years' time. We will assume we're increasing our £100 monthly savings by 3% each year. So that means the saving £100 per month this year, and then £103 per month next year, and so on. Hopefully that's not so difficult. So let's get back to our example and start with £10,000 again. We're assuming this is our starting point. This could be £10,000 of savings in cash, or £10,000 in an ISA or pension, or any combination of those. Just think about £10,000 in total. So if we start with this £10,000 and earn an average of 9% return, which I will come back to you why I've chosen this figure, and then adding £100 per month on top of that, adjusted upwards with inflation each year. So we have the two inputs, £10,000 a month invested plus £100 a month going in. We'd have the two parts of the recipe. We have the third part of the secret recipe, which is time. That's right, growth and compounding work best with time. That's why the age you start is so important. Going back to our original question, how to retire with £1 million? I'm going to assume when I say retire, I'm going to say at age 65. So if you're 45, following the start with £10,000 and then adding an inflation adjusted £100 per month, you're not going to get to 1 million, unfortunately. You're only going to get to 142,000. Not bad, but not 1 million. If you're 35, following the same strategy, you're also not going to get to 1 million, but you're going to get 388,000. Reasonable, but not quite there. But if you're 25 and start with just £10,000 and then add an inflation adjusted £100 per month into an investment vehicle earning 9% per year, you're going to get to £1 million by the time you are 65. The secret is the earlier you start, the easier it is to get there. And I'm not talking about starting with huge numbers either. Just remember, I'm talking about £10,000 and £100 per month. If you're not 25 and are older, it's never too late, but it does mean saving more each month. For example, if you're 35, you can also get to this £1 million, but you'll need to save around £350 per month. If you're 45, again the same, but it's more like £1,150 per month. Those are big differences on monthly saving amounts and shows how important it is to get started as early as possible. But before we leave, let me get back to the 9% return figure, as this merits more explanation and is frankly very important whatever age investor you are. Where can you achieve an average 9% return per year over the lifetime of your investment? Well, nobody can guarantee anything, but the closest thing we have to that is around 120 years of financial history. And over this time period, there is one place that has returned an average of 9% per year. Ladies and gentlemen, may I give you the US stock market. History shows us that in stock markets in developed countries like the US, but also the UK, markets have always gone up. You just need to give them enough time. We have 120 years worth of data to support this. There have been stock market crashes, yes, at that time, and made many people think Armageddon was here. But with time, the value always returns and has always exceeded what has been lost. And there's a simple reason for that. Stock markets are fueled by money, and money has to go somewhere. Stock markets are a collection of the best companies in the world. Think Apple, Google, Tesla, HSBC, BP, and by investing in stock markets, you are taking a small ownership of these companies. When they do well, you do well. And that is what we all need to remember. If you have enough years ahead of you and can afford to wait, money invested in the stock market will always show a positive return that exceeds inflation. History has taught us that. But remember, stock markets can be highly volatile in the short term, which is why the money you are likely to need or may even possibly need in the short term should not be invested there. But in the long term, the trend is always and will continue to be up. So what are these figures? In the 100 years to 2020, the average annual return from the FTSE 100 in the UK is over 7%, and the S&P 500, the US stock market, is 9%. Most people only think of stock markets and investing when there is a crash and it makes the 10 p.m. news, so they associate it with losing money. This couldn't be further from the truth. The bad news is that most people will probably never learn this lesson. The good news is that you have. So let's recap. You want to retire with £1 million? Well, the earlier you start, the easier it will be. If you're 25, then it could be just saving £10,000 to start with and £100 per month, and then just leave it alone, invested in global stock markets, and whilst it will bounce around in the short term, it should continue to climb the longer you leave it. Welcome to the magic of compounding. I hope you've enjoyed this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.